I've built a UFO, a flying saucer, in No Man's Sky. And yes, it does look extremely complicated, but it's surprisingly not. In this build I've made sure to only use the reverse wire glitch and the wire glitch. So if you've managed to master those two glitches, you're set. The hardest bit about this build is doing the same thing over and over again. So we'll start with the floor panel already at the height that I want it to be. We select a floor panel, we green state it, then we do the reverse wire glitch, which is hitting wire in place at the same time. The platform buttons in the bottom left corner right now, and then we carefully place the wire in the middle. Place the floor panel like so. Delete that floor panel. Then green state and reverse wire glitch, pulling the wire to that connector point. Now you're free to delete the angled wire. We can now delete that floor panel. Select the floor panel, go into the wire menu, highlight the connector point and hit wire and place at the same time. Now we've done the wire glitch. Place the floor panel, green state a floor panel, then go from the reverse wire glitch to the wire glitch. Then place two triangles. Then do the reverse wire glitch to the wire glitch for each of the edges of the triangle. Delete that triangle. Then do the same for the remaining triangle. Now go out two floor panels in a semicircle. Delete the inner ring and the centre. But when it comes to the centre, be careful not to delete the wire. Then wire glitch a floor panel at the point furthest away from the semicircle. Then we're going to do the reverse wire glitch to wire glitch from the inner edges of the semicircle, deleting the floor panels as we go. You don't have to do the reverse wire glitch from that one, you can just delete it. Now we'll carry on doing the reverse wire glitch to wire glitch for the remaining semicircle. Slowly building out a 48 sided circle. But remember, you don't have to do 48, you can do 24. And this is the last one we have to do the reverse wire glitch to wire glitch. So double check all the teeth. And you can delete the last floor panel and the one we didn't use. Now we're going to build out the 48 sided circle. And we want to go further out than the actual edge just to have that spare backup. Using the teeth as a guide. But when the teeth are no longer visible, you can move the part around like this so you can find the edge. Of course, it's going to get more difficult when you get to the last few. But there's still some movement there, so carry on. And for the final one, just move it backwards and forwards so you can find the snap. Now you've got your complete 48-sided circle. Let's start deleting everything, except for your spare ones at the edge and the ones creating the circle, and of course leave the ones in the centre alone for now. So when you come to delete that one, you can see where the wire is, so you can make sure you can delete everything but the wire. I'm going to reverse the direction of the central wire, that's so I know that the centre is closest to the archive. I'm going to wire glitch a flow panel to the centre, then I'm going to go up 2 walls and 3 small walls. Place a flow panel at the top, green state a flow panel, do the reverse wire glitch, pull the wire and make sure it's nice and centred. Delete the flow panel, green state the flow panel, reverse wire glitch, connect the wire as so. Now you're free to delete the angled wire and the scaffolding. Underneath we go down 1 wall and 2 small walls. Exactly the same process as above, just making sure the wire is nice and straight when you centre it. Now the bottom wire's in place, we can delete the scaffolding and angled wire. Now we're going to wire glitch a small wall to that bottom wire. Attach a thin wall underneath it and one to the side of it. Delete that thin wall, snap a short stone wall to the side. Now we can delete the small floor panel and the short wall. Now we're going to create wires like we've done several times already, always making sure the angled wire is nice and straightly placed. And when you've done one, delete the angled wire but not the short wall. Place the short wall on top of it. Now you're free to delete that short wall. And we're going to do that another 3 times. But if you've chosen to go with the 24-sided flying saucer, you might need less of these little wires. But I would do them anyway because it's always good to have some flexibility in your build. But for the bottom you should have 1 long wire and 4 short wires underneath. Okay, now we have all the wires in place in the centre, we can start with the build. Place 2 small walls as so. Delete the one underneath. Do the reverse wire glitch, making sure the central wire is nice and straight. Place a small wall on top and connect the wire to the bottom. Now you're free to delete the small wall and the angled wire, and you're going to do this all the way around or in batches. I ended up doing them in groups of 6. Now we're going to pull a wire from the centre to the top of that wire. Select the flow panel, go into the wire menu, and before wire glitching it to that wire, make sure you got the right angle on it. It should look like this, then do the wire glitch. Select the small flow panel, snap it like so, and then move the flow panel in half a step. Then delete that wire. Then of course you're going to repeat that process, but I'll do it in batches. Now we can move that floor panel in one. We're now free to delete those ones. And now we pull a wire from the outside to the very bottom. Then we wire glitch another floor panel to that angled wire, nudging it in half a step, but this time copying and placing another floor panel to that one. I'll show that one more time before moving on to the next step. We're going to select the small stone wall and green state it, do the reverse wire glitch and pull that wire to the one second from the bottom. Now we're going to wire glitch floor panel to that connector point. Place a small floor panel like so. Nudge it in half a step. Then you're free to delete that wire. Then repeat that process again, but this time connect the wire to the third from the bottom. When it comes to the fourth one, it's the same as the other ones, but with one big difference. When it comes to nudging it in half a step, you have to do it from underneath to get the correct snap point. And that is the upper snap point, so push up when you're underneath. And you'll also have to do the underneath part for the final one. And that will give you a lovely smooth curve for underneath the build. And when you've done those underneath segments, you're now free to drop down that floor panel on the edge. Now move the scaffolding in the outside out 2 more panels. Attach floor panels to the upper angled floor panel. Delete the one in the middle. Select a raised small paving, go up 3. Place one to the side so you can easily copy it and save you going into the menu all the time. Place a floor panel at the top. Delete the 3 small pavings. Go down 2 short walls. Move the top floor panel to the bottom snap point. Then you're going to repeat that a further 5 times. If you're going to go with less layers, you don't have to do it as many times. You can carry on watching this, but if you've got it, you can just skip ahead. But an important side note, it only took me about 1.5 minutes for each section, so it's not too long. But it is ironically the hardest part of the build. Okay, recoloring the parts. So what we do is we select the cylinder, place it and recolor the cylinder. Now go and select the stone floor panel. And as you can see, when you place it, the colour has transferred. And if you highlight a stone floor panel, you'll notice that you don't have the same colours. So you place the cylinder, change its colour. I'm going to go purple this time. And when I put the stone floor panel down, the colour's transferred. But there's something quite important to note. Different base parts will pick up different colours from that selection. So when I try to transfer the colour to this small stone wall, white is the main colour. So for the cylinder, I'll pick the one with the red secondary colour. Now the red colour is where I want it to be on that base part. Now it's time to build the upper part of the flying saucer. Copy the red floor panel, place it as so, place one above it, select the light floor panel, place 4 of them with a pattern like this, basically the clear edge facing outwards and inwards. Copy the red floor panel, place it on top of the light floor panels, place another 2 on top, move your camera around so you can go underneath. Select the light floor panels, this time only place 2 of them, like so. Move the camera so you're back on top again. Copy the red floor panel, this time place 3 of them. Place another 3 on top. Copy the light floor panel, swing the camera underneath. Snap 2, like so. Bring the camera back round so you're back on top again. Copy the red floor panel. This time place 4 of them. Select the glass alloy panel. Place a red floor panel. Another glass alloy panel. And place the final red floor panel. And make sure the pattern is going in the same direction in the alloy panels. Now we can carefully delete 2 floor panels there, and delete 4 floor panels there. And of course you can delete all those ones. Copy a floor panel and go underneath. Place it underneath, but it doesn't cover the edge of the light floor panels, and do the same for that one. Now copy the red short wall and fill in those gaps with that red short wall, making sure it's the lower snap. Copy the light floor panel and place them like so, but making sure that the light is coming through the cracks. If you don't see that, it went to a lower snap and it's in the wrong place. And then carefully wire up the light floor panels. Wires count as base parts, so you want to use as little as possible. When you've done your first section, it's a good time to do the hidden wire thing. The wire might be visible from underneath, so you might have to remove some parts and then place them back later once you've got the wire nice and hidden. But that's one section done, let's move on. Okay, highlight parts of the build. When it came to creating the smooth curve underneath, the wire didn't skew up or anything like that, it worked perfectly well all the way around. When it came to the top part, I got a slight distortion at this side of the build. That could have been some minor mistakes that I did in the build, or it could be the wire at the top twisting things, but I didn't feel that it was too extreme, so I lived with it. When it came to doing the top layers, I found doing batches was the best approach. When I got bored after doing a batch of 8, I'd go off and do something else in the build. Come back for more highlights and tips in a minute, but I'll let you watch me do one more top section. I've got some tips relating to that, but we'll let it run through till that point. You don't have to go in the menu to select the alloy parts just yet, but do make sure that that square is either top right or bottom left. So when you swap out to the alloy parts, the pattern will be exactly the way you want it to be. Copy truly is your best friend. When it comes to wiring the ones you put on the top, make sure that you connect to the upper connectors. And I want to reiterate it again, when you're doing the bottom section, make sure you go underneath and push up to the upper snap point. And that will give you that beautiful smooth curve at the bottom. And when you've dropped the floor panel, you can extend it out and attach some stairs. Once that's done, you can attach the walls of your choice. I opened the menu up and went for the mid-alloy wall. And then when I swung out to the outside, I selected a glass wall. Turned snap off and very carefully placed it so it would be centered. We'll jump forward to near the end of all the segments. The top section isn't an issue, you can manage that quite easily. But when it comes to the bottom section, it's not going to be difficult, it's just going to be irritating. This bit is quite easy. But as you can see here, you're not going to be able to use a small wall, so use a short stone wall instead. When it comes to the last two sections, it's going to be a lot of guesswork, but you'll get there. But as usual, for the last two bits, it's best to go from underneath. And you might get it wrong a couple of times for this little bit. Okay, because short range teleporters won't always work, I'm going to have to create a hatch at the back. It's going to break the line up a little bit, but you can take a different approach if you wish. But of course, drop those floor panels first. We're going to place the two short walls, delete the bottom one, wire glitch, you know the routine. Once that's done, snap some stairs like I am. Attach a floor panel to the bottom of the stairs. Select a short wall, do the reverse wire glitch, pull the wire to the bottom of that wire at the top. If that angle's wrong, wire glitch a floor panel to the edge of that wire. Raise it up two short walls, do the reverse wire glitch again, pull the wire to the bottom of that wire. Delete that wire. Select the floor panel and wire glitch it to that connector point. Use a small floor panel to nudge that floor panel out a bit. You've got a ramp where you can put a door so you can easily access your base from the back. And I started putting emergency lights at the back to act as an engine. That's a personal choice, you don't have to. Also attached some walls and filled in some gaps at the sides. And then selected the mid-alloy door to put in the back. Okay, let's do the last segment of the top section of the flying saucer, but I'll be back with the core part of the flying saucer. So how to fill in the core of this base? As it's a stormy planet and bases like this aren't weather tight, let's select the deep water chamber. Now if I wire glitch it to that one there, as you'll see it's too high up. But if I wire glitch it to that one there and place them on top of each other, it's the perfect height. Now if I stick my nose outside, see, that's quite good. But when I try to put 4 panels at the bottom, it's too low. So the only solution is to create a wire point above that big one. So we wire glitch a small floor panel. We actually have to raise it up 1 short wall. And as you can see, I'm probably tired at this point because I'm reading the wood instead of the stone, so we'll swap to stone. Do the old reverse wire glitch, pull the wire, make sure it's perfectly centered. Copy and place the small floor panel, delete that floor panel. Do the old reverse wire glitch, pull the wire to that connector point. Wire glitch the deep water chamber. Now we can select the stone floor panel and place them round the bottom, but make sure they're evenly placed, so I'd use those struts as a guide. Of course I didn't do that, but you might have to. And we check underneath, that's a nice pattern. And one last thing, you can use these lights, make them nice and big, and evenly place them all the way around underneath to create a nice light effect. But I'll leave the rest of the decorating of your UFO to you. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit that like and subscribe button, or on the bell thingy. And of course, thank you for watching. See you all later.